What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming with the Bros Cast, episode 266. My name is Harrison, and I'm joined by my brother, Nick. As always, Nick, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. Tuesday? What the hell?
Tuesday.
When are we?
when are we?
When are we? I'm doing great.
Good. Yeah, we obviously Memorial Day was yesterday, so I was like, you know what? Let's just enjoy the day, and then we'll come back next day with the podcast. But Nick, I mean, where are the vibes at? We got the Switch 2 next Thursday. We've got Summer Games Fest coming up next week as well on Friday.
Man,
how are the vibes going, man?
The vibes are unbelievable. I'm still thinking through my midnight launch plans.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you get the Switch, you come home, you play for 30 minutes, and then you go to sleep.
Absolutely. I start the system update and I start downloading all my games.
Oh, that's right. There's an update for day one update.
I'm sure it's like a 5-minute update.
Yeah, it's probably something.
But like, I've got my case already.
Yep, I did order one from Amazon as well. I've got it coming.
I got my Tom Talk. This thing's huge. I'm just gonna show you
Size comparison.
Switch 1 looks like inside of it. I guess this doesn't do it that much justice, but wait. There's a lot of room.
There's a lot of room.
So Switch 2 seems pretty big, I will say.
Yeah. I mean, an 8-inch, is it 8.1 or 8-inch, something like that?
7.9.
7.9.
It's 6.9. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, still thinking through, when I'm going to get there. Like when do you arrive for a midnight launch when you have the system pre-ordered? Do you get there like an hour earlier? Do you just get there on time? Because they're going to have systems available for people who didn't pre-order.
Yeah. Where'd you get it from?
Best Buy.
Okay.
What did you do when you went and picked your Switch 1 up?
I mean, I just I got there probably 30 minutes till midnight. And there was probably 30 or 40 people in line, maybe. And I just, they kind of just right at 12, they just let everybody kind of walk in. They took us to the customer service area. And they had like a big wall with all the switches, and then all the accessories. So you could kind of grab your Switch that you pre-ordered, and then if you wanted to pick up some amiibos and whatever else you wanted, you could do that right there, right then and there, and then you just went on your way. But so I would say, I mean, since you've already got the pre-order in the bag, I mean, and there's no sense of like urgency, to get there sooner than that, I would say just roll up maybe 30 minutes before, 45 minutes before, vibe out.
Okay, might do that.
How close is your local Best Buy?
It's like 15 minutes away.
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah, so I would say leave around like 11:15, and then just so you can get a good spot in lining. But you'll have to send me some updates that night.
I'll send you some pictures.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's going to be a pretty big line. Well, at least I think it's going to be. But
yeah,
dude, the last midnight launch I went to was Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS.
Jeez, man, what was that? 2016?
2015.
2015. Jeez.
I didn't even want it that bad. I just went.
You just went.
Yeah. I didn't even play it that much. Played it a few times.
Yeah, it wasn't. I had it. It just wasn't. Smash really hasn't hit for me since probably Melee, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Brawl on the Wii. I remember specifically you and I we were very excited about like the characters getting announced for Brawl. And then we played it a good amount, but once you're kind of older and we had all the kids in our neighborhood coming over and playing Smash, it was just a different kind of vibe.
I feel like with Brawl we still had a lot of people come over, but
yeah, I think
when did Brawl come out? Was that 2011? No, not 2011.
No,
God,
no, it was 2008.
2008.
Something like that.
Yeah, it sounds right.
We came out 2006.
Yes.
Yeah,
so, I think 2008. You would have been 18, 17.
No, in 2008, I was probably 16 or 17 because I graduated in 2010.
So you're probably more so in your Xbox era.
Yeah, I definitely was.
Yeah, and I was teetering.
Yeah, I mean,
It was on like the Wii Call of Duty era.
the Wii Call of Duty, the Conduit, Metro
Yeah.
Prime 3, Corruption.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, you were definitely
What a time.
you were pretty into the motion controls. Red
I
Steel.
was on like the dial-up internet Conduit multiplayer that ran at 5 frames per second.
Yeah, that was pretty ass.
It
And you
was
were playing
pretty-
on like that little tiny TV.
I don't know what it is, but those small TVs are really good for aim.
Yeah.
Like if you're I feel like you just aim better on a smaller TV. I don't know what it is, but
I don't know.
I digress. What are we talking about? Okay,
We're just talking. Good.
before we get into what we've been playing, all that stuff, I got to talk about what you're picking up for the Switch 2 launch. If
Yeah.
you've decided to pick up anything else, because I've been teetering back and forth on a couple of games, and I want to hear your thoughts on what you're getting.
Yeah, and maybe because I was gonna ask, like when you go to the midnight launch, I'm assuming you can still buy stuff. So if there's anything that's like it's gonna be like an impulse purchase for you. If there's maybe the amiibos, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still like Bravely Default. Like I'm still interested in. Obviously, I've got I'm gonna play all the kind of the update games that I have. Zelda and stuff like that. All the games that get the free updates. I've got Harry Potter or Hogwarts Legacy. I've got that update coming. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with Cyberpunk. Like I kind of want to try it on the Switch too. But then I have to fork over another $70, which I don't necessarily want to do.
Right.
But I feel like I want something like single player as well. Like I don't know.
You know what it is?
What's that?
I want a physical game. I think that's what I'm kind of missing.
Yeah.
In my launch lineup right now. And like, not that it really matters, but to have something that theoretically you could just put into your console, and play immediately. Not that Cyberpunk would be a game that I want to play first on my console, but the idea of it, and maybe I'm just trying to emulate my experience with the Switch and Breath of the Wild, and just being able to plug that in and immediately play.
Yeah.
And yeah, that won't be the case with like Mario Kart World or any other game I pick up on launch day. But Cyberpunk, that one's all on cart.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it before. It is a bummer that there's not like a first party, single player game coming out for the Switch at launch. Because it kind of feels reminiscent of like the Xbox launch where, I've got this new console, but I don't have something new to play. And like, that's
it's
kind
better
of
than the Series X launch.
Oh,
for sure.
Absolutely. But it's giving me that,
kind of that same feeling.
that kind of that same vibe. Especially if I pick up Cyberpunk. I mean, Cyberpunk is, a 5-year-old game at this point. So it's like I want to play something like brand new,
Right.
But
it's kind of reminded me of the 3DS launch, which launched with Pilot Wings. And then I bought Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
As well.
Did that launch with Mario 64? I know it did not with Zelda. That was the DS. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think the DS launched with Mario 64.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, the
3DS was pretty mediocre launch, wasn't it?
It was a bad launch, and it was $250 or $299.
I think it was $300.
Yeah, $300. They decreased it to $250.
Yeah,
it's like it wasn't a great launch, and they really didn't have anything good. I mean, honestly, until like Ocarina of Time 3D came out, and that's when you got it, right?
I didn't get a 3DS until 2014, I think, because my Brittany bought it for me.
Dang,
that was kind of like that. I didn't take a year off of gaming, but I definitely wasn't gaming as much as I did or was. But at the same time, I also picked up Dark Souls 2, and I think that's when I got into Dark Souls, like around 2014, 2015.
Changed your life.
Yeah, it was a weird time for gaming for me because I didn't have the Xbox One, which not missing a ton there.
Yeah.
Eventually did get one, then of course got a PS4 whenever Bloodborne came out, but yeah, to go back to the Switch 2 launch, there's just not that game that I'm like dying to play. Although like maybe Mario Kart, like and the stuff that they've shown off for Mario Kart, like the single player stuff, like it all looks kind of like checklisty to me. Like just kind of you're going through the motion of like doing the. Hopefully, there's something meatier there than just collecting 5 blue coins and then moving on. A little bit meatier.
A bit meatier. I'm sure there's going to be some more intricate, like question P marks, P blocks, P switches. Yeah. I mean, that honestly, that's what I'm excited for most is all the open world stuff in the free roam. Yeah. Like I'm less excited about the multiplayer. Like, of course, I'm looking forward to Knockout Tour, but I'm excited to like explore this huge world that's going to have a bunch of secrets, probably beyond the P switch stuff. So I think there will be a lot of single player content.
Yeah, I do love that stuff about like Nintendo games, and we'll talk about here in a second. But like Doom, is one of those games too where it's like it's just chock full of secrets like everywhere you turn, and I love that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited for it, but just wish that like at least Metroid.
We needed Metroid. Yeah, we
like
needed Prime 4.
What's going on, Kids Club? Like
what's up?
Which I mean, we're rumored to get a Nintendo Direct next month, anyways. So
we'll get some answers. I'm still shocked that they went that route, but maybe they were thinking about like these big third-party developers like CD Projekt Red that have these huge single-player releases, and they don't want to necessarily overshadow those releases because they want to give third parties that respect that they need.
Yeah, they definitely want them like to show up big time on.
Yeah, they want them to show up, and they want it to be worth it when they show up. And I bet like a good chunk of people are going to pick up Cyberpunk on day one.
Oh, I'm sure.
One, because it's at this point a really great game, and it's fully on cart, and it's day one. Like, that's a pretty good proposition.
Yeah, get used to it, because that may be literally the only 64 gigabyte cart game we have on the Switch too. It doesn't seem like anybody is going to do it.
Yeah, even I didn't put it in the news, but Dragon Quest 1 and 2,
Quest, that can't fit on a at least a 32.
But it's on a Switch 1 cart. It's fully on that cart. So the problem is that seemingly Nintendo is only offering either the Game Key cart, which has nothing on it, or the 64 gigabyte cart, which is expensive.
Oh, so there's no. I know the Switch had 16, or they had 8, 16, and I think 32.
32. Yeah, they're not offering that.
Which is why a lot of the times for like Resident Evil Revelations, like the first one was on there, and then you had a download code for Revelations 2. Yeah, so I didn't know that. So it was only the 64.
Yep. And with
why do they do that?
It's probably cheaper for them to put all their eggs in that basket and get those like manufacturing discounts.
Okay. All right. That makes more sense to me, because I was thinking that. I was like, why all of a sudden is it like a huge deal for these companies to put these games on there, especially like Dragon Quest that announced today? I was like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. But now that makes sense. And
there is another game at launch that is fully on a card. That's Rune Factory. Was it Guardians of Zuma, I think? And the developer Marvelous actually talked about like the reasoning for putting it on a key card, or I guess not a key card, but putting it fully on cart. And they said, like, they basically just said that it made the most sense for them, but they kind of had to subsidize the cost by increasing the price of the game to $70 to supplement that cost of putting it on a cart, which kind of gives more evidence to the assertion that Nintendo is only offering the 64 gigabyte carts to these developers.
To go back to your original question, I've got a list of all 23 games that are coming out for the Switch 2 at launch. Mm-hmm. Let me read them off real quick. So we've got Arcade Archives 2, Ridge Racer, Bravely Default, Flying Fairy HD Remaster, Cyberpunk, Deltarune Fast Fusion, which I'm kind of curious about this game, because this is like the oh shoot,
It's like F-Zero.
yeah, like F-Zero. And I think this one's on the cart too. If I'm
This
not
one's
mistaken.
just a download because it's
Oh, it's just a
$15.
download. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fortnite, Hitman, World of Assassination, Hogwarts Legacy, Kinetsugami, Path of the Goddess, both Legend of Zeldas, Mario Kart World, Switch Welcome Tour, Nebunaga's Ambition Awakening, Puyo Tetris, Jesus Christ, Rune Factory, like you mentioned, Sid Meier's Civ 7, Sonic and Shadow Generation, Split Fiction, Street Fighter 6, Sudoku HD Remaster 1 and 2, Survival Kids, and then Yakuza 0 Director's Cut are all coming. I mean, there's nothing necessarily that kind of jumps out of me at that list. But I don't know. I may dabble. I may dabble in something.
Yeah, I think my thing is I want a mouse control game to try that out.
Yeah.
And I know Harry Potter or Hogwarts Legacy has that. I know Cyberpunk has that. I think does Bravely Default doesn't have that, does it?
That I'm not sure of.
I think it does. But one more game that's coming out that was announced today. I guess it's an upgrade, but Fantasy Life
Okay.
the Switch 2 edition upgrade is now coming on launch day.
Cool.
Originally it was TBD, and now it's launching.
Is it a free upgrade?
It's like $3.
Oh, okay.
So pretty cheap.
That's cool.
I'm very excited for that.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, nothing like stand out, but I mean, once I had the Switch 2 and I'm looking at the eShop, I'm probably gonna like pick something up.
I mean, I think I'm definitely gonna get Bravely Default, just because I never finished the game on the 3DS.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Did you ever play the 3DS game?
I did. Yeah. I played up to the point where like it.
Oh right,
seemingly like restarts, but it doesn't. It's weird. I can't remember exactly how it happens, but
I wonder if they changed that at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. But that game is really cool. I like that game a lot. So yeah, like I said, once I have it in my hands and I'm messing around with stuff, I'll probably get something.
You'll get the itch.
Yeah, I'll definitely get the itch. And I took Thursday and Friday off, so I don't know. I'll probably get the itch just to go to GameStop or something and pick something up. If I want something physical, like maybe I don't know what I would get, like physical, but I kind of want one game at least, but we'll see.
I mean, I guess the choice is Cyberpunk or Rune Factory if you're wanting to get like a game that's fully on the card.
Yeah, and maybe I just get Cyberpunk and just support that game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see.
I might impulse buy it. Who knows?
You're gonna be there at midnight and be like, Harrison, I got it.
I did it, man.
I did it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got it.
We got it. So yeah, but yeah, I'm very hyped to get this thing in my hand.
Yeah.
Looks super cool. I mean, we're finally here. We're finally here after years of waiting, after hundreds and hundreds of Nintendo Prime videos, speculation videos. We made it. Yeah. Yeah, we are finally here.
We're here.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
But Nick, you want to dive into what we have been playing?
Let's do it. Should we start with? Okay, let's start with your closing experience with Clair Obscur Expedition 33, because I know you have now 100% of the game.
Yep.
And there's not much left for you to do.
There's not much. I mean, there may be some, because again, like I talked about I wish it had like a checkbox or something.
Yeah.
Once you've completed a world, something like that. I don't know exactly how they would implement that now, but that would have been really, really helpful. But so there may have been some bosses that I just haven't done, but I think I've done everything. But I've gotten all the achievements. Specifically going in there and fighting Clea, which I love the vibe around entering Clea's fight, because it's like an immensely powerful being is behind this door or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or you, like when they walk in, you can I think they say something on the lines of like the change in the air or pressure, something like that. Which I ended up like beating her pretty quick. I think I died maybe once. She wasn't super hard, but
I
fighting
guess
Simon.
spoilers for Expedition 33.
Yeah, and without the context of knowing who these
Yeah, it
characters
doesn't really
are,
matter. But
yeah, I don't.
yeah,
But yeah. But yeah, the secret boss or the hardest boss in the game is Simon. And just like that feels like a Dark Souls boss, like just going up into it and then falling down into the pit. And you see all the golden swords around, and then just like doing the like figuring out the lore around Simon is awesome. I saw a lot of people saying that Expedition 60 is the one that damaged him, but I don't.
the
I didn't.
naked one.
Yeah, because
Really?
I guess because they were like sheer strength, so
Hmm.
I think people were speculating that it was them. But
Okay.
but their voice recording wasn't in that area in Renoir's drafts. So I
No,
don't think it
it
was.
was in Lumiere, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it was them that did that. I mean, we can only assume that maybe, I don't know, maybe Renoir himself or one of like the Axon that he killed maybe did that to him. But yeah, all that stuff is really really cool. The
Yeah, that backstory
yeah, because like I don't know if you saw it flying around, but like there's like that giant Axon, that's like
in that
in
area.
yeah,
Right.
it looks super cool when you
Mhm.
fly around on SKA. But yeah, I thought I was going to have a more difficult time with the gestural beach stuff, but I kind of went through it. Like I went through I did the only up challenge. I beat that on my first try after coming
See,
back.
yeah, that one's not. It's not too bad if you don't fall.
Yeah. And then the main one that I was worried about is the one where you have to kind of go across the water, like on the logs, and then you have to like jump into the spinning like
Yeah,
wheel
yeah.
or whatever.
I think that was the first one I did.
I think I died. I think I dropped in the water maybe once coming back to it, and I beat it. And then once I got to the final platform and talked to the gesture, I was like, oh, that was super
Yeah,
quick.
that one's not too bad. I mean, I died like probably over 10 times to it,
Yeah,
but in hindsight, it wasn't too bad. I did have a lot of trouble with the volleyball one. I don't know if you
that
played
one
with that one.
that one took me a while. I probably took me about 30 minutes to do that one.
I just couldn't figure out where I was and like where I was shooting my blast. Like that felt kind of janky.
That's what I was saying. I was like, man, I just can't see where this thing is coming when he throws like the little gestural.
And the timing was
Um,
weird too. Like yeah, there was like a delay in your blast.
yeah, there was because even at that point I was kind of messing around with the settings because I played majority of the game in fidelity mode or uh, what's the visual
Graphics
mode,
mode.
graphics mode. And then once I got towards the end, the frame rate became a problem when I was fighting some enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to switch it to 60. And then after that, I was just like, why didn't I play this game in 60 the whole time?
I mean, yeah, it's a lot better in 60.
Yeah, it's way better. Because I was having issues with like countering and dodging and stuff. So once I put that back, once I put it to performance, it wasn't an issue. But
Mm-hmm.
but man, this game, it's a masterpiece. Like this
And that,
story is it's incredible. Like and it leaves enough open to where like they can do a sequel or some DLC, and I want to explore more of this world. I
mm-hmm.
want to know what else is going on. I'm trying to not spoil anything, but yeah, just the storytelling of this game is fantastic. Like you care about all the characters by the end of the game. Yeah, man, it's brilliant.
I know we were talking about this before we went live, but this is kind of a lock for both of our game of the years. Like,
Yeah, nothing's close right now.
yeah, nothing's close. I don't imagine anything coming close.
No.
Like, this is a kind of a generational game that can't really be topped by, by anything else. I mean, this might be my favorite game since, like, probably since Elden Ring and I guess Tears of the Kingdom too. But
Yeah.
like this one just feels so new. It feels so different, but it also feels inspired by other games. I don't know. It's gonna be hard to beat. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a world where this game doesn't win the Game Awards Game of the Year.
Yeah, this game, it's gonna sweep. Like, it's gonna win best RPG, best game of the year, best narrative, best music. The music is so
Yeah.
dude. Whenever you're fighting Simon and you get into the second phase, like that, whoever sung that song had no reason to go as hard as he did, but God, dude, like just incredible, man. Yeah, I think this game. I mean, every year is like, individually, everyone's always got their favorite game, their game of the year, and there's always there's always usually two games, that people are like bicker about. But this one, like, I just don't see anybody saying that it's not going to win. Even if you don't enjoy RPGs or turn-based games, like I just don't anybody in their right mind, I think, unless you're just a grifter,
right,
should have anything negative to say about this game. It's just,
I think there's I think there's going to be a lot of fanboyism around like
Ghost of Yotai, maybe
Ghost of Yotai, and maybe Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
I don't think that one has like a real shot of winning over like the hearts of everyone and winning Game of the Year. But yeah, I mean the one or two PlayStation exclusives that are coming out in 2025, I think those are gonna get some love from outlets.
Yeah, I did forget about Ghost of Yotai specifically. That's gonna be very fucking annoying because like people were the same way with Spider-Man 2, and I love Spider-Man 2, but that shit had no. I mean, it didn't win a single award, and I'm not discrediting, Insomniac or anything like that. Like, if they won an award, cool, but like that game had no shot at winning Game of the Year. It just had no shot.
Yeah, I can't stop thinking about like Kind of Funny's review of Spider-Man 2 where everyone gave it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I know you guys are friends with Insomniac, but was it that good? Like, it didn't make my top 10, and maybe it should have.
Yeah, it was definitely my top 10. I think it was top 5 for me, maybe. I mean, I loved that. Like, I platinumed that game. Like, I really enjoyed it, but it's just like that. There was like that one clip that was going around on Twitter of like the Sandman fight, and it was just like I think it was Miles like getting thrown through, and they're like, man, this gameplay is peak. I'm like, this isn't gameplay. This is like a quick time event. Like, it's not actual. And it was just like you can't argue with those people because they just don't make sense. Like, they're gonna always believe that their opinion, and that's I guess that's what you should be. Your opinion's your own, but it's like you can't. Yeah, it's hard to like argue with those types of people because they are just
rationalize it. Yeah,
they're just absolutely insufferable online. So yeah, I know that's probably going to be a big issue around the Game Awards, specifically with Death Stranding and Ghost of Yotai, but I don't know. The shillers will shill.
Shillers will shill. What won last year? It was Astrobot.
Which I thought was fair.
I thought that was deserved.
It was Astrobot. I don't think Indie. I think it came out too late, so that one didn't get.
Metaphor was in the conversation.
Metaphor, and which we hadn't played at the time that came out. So
yeah, that would have been my game of the year.
Yeah, Metaphor was great.
So good. What a time for turn-based RPGs.
Yeah, they I guess they never left, but I guess people just had that narrative going around that they just didn't sell, and it's like, no, like Final Fantasy doesn't sell that well anymore because maybe they jumped to. I mean, Final Fantasy 16 was like a God of War game, for crying out loud. Like it was. There was nothing. I don't know. People just love that.
There was no DNA left.
Yeah. No, and that's okay. Like shifting, like Resident Evil. They've got they switched up formulas.
Multiple times.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with switching up formulas at all. But, anyways, so yeah, Clair Obscur is absolutely fantastic. It's a
masterpiece.
Yeah, it's definitely a masterpiece. It's probably one of those games where if it comes to Switch 2, and I'm assuming it will, I'll pick it up. I'll double dip. Well, not even double dip because I didn't even buy it. I played it on Game Pass, which is also insane to like how good is Game Pass? Like you have Metaphors coming, I think this month. If it's not already on there.
This week? Yeah,
this week. Like just game, like it's getting
Doom.
Game of the Year games, Game of the Year potential games on there. It's incredible.
That's a huge get for them. And like, I know we're going to talk about it in the news, but let's just mention it now. Expedition 33 has sold 3.3 million copies, ironically, in 33 days.
Yeah,
since 33 days of release. I wonder how many people have I know that's separate from Game Pass. I wonder how many people have played it on Game Pass. Is it
probably a ton?
Is it, in the millions? Is it upwards of 5 million people that have played it on Game Pass? I mean,
yeah,
this is probably the start of a really big franchise, and I'm hoping it continues, and I'm hoping they have continued success. But that's a huge win. Over 3 million copies sold in just over a month.
It had everything. It had everything like on their side. Like it's a budget friendly game. It's $50. It's on Game Pass. It got great reviews from like everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's a win-win. So yeah. Just congratulations to that team. They nailed it. And I know like Ubisoft is like kicking themselves in the ass because like this, it's not all former Ubisoft employees, but it's a couple, a decent amount, a couple that probably had this idea and they're like, hey, they may have presented it to Ubisoft and then Ubisoft was like, nah, we got Assassin's Creed. We got the same formula, the same game, just reskinned. So yeah, crazy. But yeah, great game. Nick, tell me about Fantasy Life.
This one kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't plan on really picking it up. I had played the original on 3DS.
Yeah.
And had gotten really into it and really enjoyed it. And then I realized it was coming out last week. So I looked at a couple of reviews and there weren't many because I think they sent review copies out late, which wasn't a good sign. But the reviews that I did see were really great. And then I looked at a couple of Switch reviews because I was worried about Switch performance. Like the clips on YouTube that I had seen previously weren't great, but I watched some Switch reviews on YouTube. They all had great things to say about the game. It runs at a pretty stable 30 frames per second. I know people give you shit about saying stable and 30 frames in the same sentence, but it's not dipping into the teens, so that's a plus. And from my experience, after 14 hours, like the game has ran pretty great. Like I'm really not complaining much. But this it's a really fun game. It's just it's a RPG life sim game where you take on 14 different lives, from like a woodcutter to a carpenter to a paladin, and each one has its own skill tree, set of levels, has its own quests. You play it at your own pace. You do whatever. There's a big open world. There's there's individual small towns that you go to. There's time travel. You're traveling to the present and the past, and you're like in the present, you're building up this town, and it's kind of like Animal Crossing like, where you're building your own town and doing all that terraforming stuff, which I haven't really gotten too deep into. And then in the past, there's like this bustling city. You're like, oh, why did this city collapse? Because it's the same city in the same area in the present and the past. So you're trying to figure out what happened to this civilization. It's a super, super deep game. Like, I know it doesn't seem like it on the surface because it looks very chibi, like kind of looks like Link's Awakening. Doesn't have a great art style, to be honest, but man, it's got some deep systems. Like
this is the one that's getting the Switch 2 upgrade.
Yeah, this is getting the Switch 2 upgrade, so it'll get boosted up to 60 frames presumably. So I'm really excited about that. But like, even with something as simple as chopping down wood, like you're almost chopping down a tree like you're fighting an enemy, where you have a stamina bar and each time you swing your axe, you lose a little bit of stamina, but the tree regains health faster than you regain stamina. So you can't just go up to a level 50 tree and chop it down at level 20.
Okay.
Because like it's HP regrowth will outclass your stamina regrowth. So
Yeah.
like you actually have to like grind a little bit and unlock abilities, like unlock like mega swings, like this kind of stuff. It's stupid. It's a dumb game, but
Did you already have this game, or did you buy this because it's getting the Switch 2 upgrade?
I already had it.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew it was getting a Switch 2 upgrade at some point during the year.
We just didn't know if it was going to be launched or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was assuming it was going to be later this year, but now it's a launch game, which is really great. And I think this game's already sold 500,000 copies. So it's doing really well. I think people like it. It's a different community. I was looking at like videos online, like tips and tricks, that kind of stuff, like being a beginner's guide. And it's like definitely like a different, like it's like the cozy community.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I see where I'm at, and I'm not upset about it. You know? Yeah, it's cool.
Cozied up.
Just cozied up, man. So it's fun. I mean, I guess I'd recommend it to people who like Stardew Valley or like Animal Crossing. But it's a cool game.
Cool.
Shall we talk about Doom on the literal opposite end of the spectrum?
Yeah, let's talk about Doom. So yeah, I finally fired it up yesterday for the first time. And I played to like I think I played through chapter 8. I think through chapter 8. So like I think I'm on chapter 9 now. So I played a decent chunk of this game. It's really good. I mean, if you like Doom 2016, if you like Doom Eternal, I think it's going to be right up your alley. It does. There aren't like the glory kills necessarily anymore.
No.
Not to the degree of like visceration with in 2016 and Eternal. I mean, there's still glory kills per se, but it definitely feels toned down more so in this game, which is not a big deal. But the combat is very like I think it's pretty different from like 2016 and Eternal. It's more based on parry mechanic with the shield, which isn't very difficult to pull off. I mean, the timing window is, I think the higher difficulty you go, the timing window gets less and less.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very focused on pairing. Like every enemy just about has like it'll be on the screen like red attacks, red fireballs, stuff like that. You just have to dodge. And then green are the one that you can parry. But all the weapons feel like really good. And like there's not a weapon yet that I've gotten. I'm like, let me take that back. Maybe I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the impaler gun where it shoots like the single fire shots. It's a little bit slow. Oh, yeah. It's a little bit on the slower end. But it does a high amount of damage. So so that's the only one that like I'll kind of use that one for last. If I'm completely out of ammo, which doesn't happen too often. But so that's probably my least favorite one so far. But I mean, all the weapons you get, like the super shotgun, super OP. Have you gotten the ball and chain yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, that's super fun to use. It takes over your gauntlet, your melee. So it's a little bit more of a ranged attack, I guess. You can have a decent amount of distance on the enemy. You don't have to get right up in their face to use your melee attack, but that's really cool to use. But yeah, I mean, it's got it's chock full of secrets. There's secrets all over the place. It's Doom. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah. No, it's
you are not as high as I think I am on this game.
I don't. Yeah. And to be honest, I wasn't as high on Eternal either. I loved Doom 2016. I think Eternal, I didn't like the economy of ammo and health. And I get that's Doom.
Yeah.
I think that's always been Doom, right?
Yeah, I didn't love Eternal. I liked it a lot. And I finished it, but it definitely, between comparing 2016 and Eternal, I prefer 2016.
Okay.
it was more of the same, but just they added like
It's more frenetic.
yeah, they like I think the chainsaw thing, which the chainsaw isn't in this game, but like I think that's when they added in like just more types of glory kills. So it just felt like you're trying to juggle too much in your head. I'm like, okay, this enemy I definitely need to get health from, or this enemy I need to get ammo from, and whatever. But yeah.
And with the Dark Ages, I don't dislike it. Like I think it's a great game. I think like at its core, it's a great game. I'm just not. It's something's not clicking with me, and it's not the parrying because I like the parrying part of it. I just still think it's that like weapon economy that I can't wrap my head around.
Yeah.
And I think I just need to play more of it because I'm only like 6 chapters in. I'm not super deep into the game. I just did my first like dragon level. And I don't think I played anything after that.
Yeah.
But I think I just need to play more of it, get deeper into the game. I heard the back half is way better than the first half of the game. Whereas in Eternal, apparently it was like the opposite, something like that.
Yeah.
So I need to get a little bit further into it before I write it off. But hearing that you like it, that's driving me more to play it because you're a little bit further in.
Yeah, I like it a lot, and it's like they introduced like the kind of the gimmicky stuff that was in the trailers and the game, like the initial gameplay of like the dragon and the mech, and they feel very, very gimmicky, like
especially the mech.
Yeah, maybe that opens up a little bit more later on in the game. I have no idea, but the 2 levels that I've done with the specific mechanics, not great. It's not bad. Like I had a good time, but it didn't blow me away. It wasn't as cool to play as it was to watch in those trailers. But it's still it's something. And those levels are not the dragon one, but that one's kind of a long level, and maybe that's the one that caused you to kind of want to put the game down, or it kind of dragged on because you're right. I think you have to go through like four ships, and they're varied a little bit, but you still do the same thing at the very end. So maybe that's a turn off. But I think the next level after that is when the environment opens up, and you still have to go close 4 gates, but there's a lot to do in between there, and there's tons of enemies for you to mow down, tons of secrets to find, tons of different boss fights, and I think you've had to come across, but like in this game, there are optional boss fights that are more powerful. That once you kill them, you get like the upgrade for like ammo type or more health or or more shield, something like that. So those are kind of scattered out through the maps that I've seen. So and a bigger incentive just to explore. So yeah. I think if for those, if you've, like I said, if you've played Doom, you're probably playing this now. I don't think it's so far. I don't think it's really super shaken up the formula, for better or for worse. So if you're coming if you were coming off Eternal and you weren't super high on it,
this might not change your mind.
Yeah, this might not change your mind, but also, like you said, the second half gets better, and I've really enjoyed the first half. So knowing that, like I'm excited to play some more.
Just an observation. I think 4 is too much for anything.
Like when doing four objectives. Yeah,
I think 2 or 3 is perfect.
That Call of Duty level in Black Ops 6, how many do you have to how many camps do you have to go through? Is it 4 or is it 3?
I think it's 4.
Yeah. And this one is not nearly as big as that level. And that one you have like a vehicle and stuff. Like there's not a ton. I mean, I think there's stuff you can find, like secrets you can find in that Call of Duty map.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, like you're taking, like the castle is getting attacked, and like you have to go in and defeat the horde or whatever.
Yeah.
And like the Doomslayer like runs around so quickly that you can cross the map up and pretty pretty quickly. And I just love, like, I don't know if it was this case in 2016 internal, but like if you're to jump off a high enough ledge, like you'll crush the enemies and cause like a
it wasn't like
shockwave.
that in Eternal.
Just like running in general, you can feel the heaviness of the Slayer. And again, like I know like the Slayer is kind of leashed and being mind controlled by the the makers in this game, but his fucking pure hatred of demons, like it's so funny. Like
It's kind of comical. Yeah.
At the end of the mech level where like he's already slaughtered that giant demon. You could see like the bones and stuff, and he still like takes the bomb and shoves it down his throat and then throws him. And I was like, bro did not have to do all that.
But bro did.
But bro did. So yeah, it is very, very comical, and then how much he hates. And that's what the makers say. They're like, yeah, we've erased his mind except for his hatred of demons. Like it's
just a generational hater.
Yeah. So it's so stupid, but it works. So yeah, I've enjoyed this game so far.
Nice.
Nick, let me pause for a second, and you can talk to the audience if you want to. I'm gonna go grab me a drink.
Okay. I just want to apologize to the audience because it's taken us 51 minutes to get into the topic of the show. And I always think back to the one comment, the one review on Apple Podcasts that complained because we took 45 minutes to get into the topic of the show. And I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all.
All right. Any final thoughts on Doom?
I think I'll play more. I'll play more of it.
Yeah. It's
no final thoughts yet. Just initial thoughts.
Yeah, I definitely plan on getting it done before the Switch 2 comes out, and then it's time to lock in.
Let's go.
All right, let's dive into the topic of the week, which has been the same topic for the last 7 weeks. The Last of Us 2, Last of Us Season 2. We're gonna do episode 7 review, and then also the season because it's officially done.
Yeah,
happened so quickly,
so fast.
I did not like this episode.
It was extremely rushed.
Yeah, it was extremely rushed. I'm also to the point. I don't think Bella is a good Ellie. I don't like her acting, and I've never seen her in anything else.
Well, I don't think it's a problem with Bella. I think it's a problem with the writing of the show because they wrote specific lines for Ellie in this show that just don't coalesce with Ellie in the game.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Is but
I think Bella's fine
because you're directed way to do. Yeah, the whole episode felt extremely rushed. I mean, the last few episodes kind of have how quickly they've gotten to everything. We talked about it before, but I think the revelation of finding out why Abby did it was a mistake to reveal that in episode 2. I mean, you find that out at this point, for following the game, like when you pick up and play as Abby. I don't think the shock at the end of this episode of showing Abby day one like hit as hard as it did in the game.
No,
I don't know. I just as much as I loved like the first season, and I do think that one still holds up in comparison to the game. I just don't think this adaptation for season 2 is nearly as good. And I know part 2 was going to be kind of difficult with how they did everything, but like they should have just structured it like, okay, Abby kills, Joel, whatever. And then maybe like the next episode you show just Abby day one and we get to know those characters. And then you switch to Ellie and then kind of go that back and forth until you come to, the end of, I don't know. I just felt super rushed, and the big moments in part 2 don't hit as hard.
Yeah, I agree. And it's weird because they kept saying, oh, we're adapting this differently. We're changing the structure. Like it's not going to be how it was in the game. It's going to be different. And all they did was change how the characters were written. They didn't change the structure of the story at all, except for when it mattered, right?
Yeah.
Except for like, yeah, revealing Abby's motive and for writing Ellie in a certain way. Like, why did they make her accidentally kill people when in the game she was like on this like tunnel visioned rampage
Yeah.
of killing everyone that possibly wronged Joel in any way? And you know, that's what kind of is the catalyst for like the moral of the story. Whereas in this, she's killed 3 people and
Yeah.
one of them was
And
an
I'm not.
accident.
Yeah, and I'm not. I don't need to see Ellie kill 30 people up and at this point, because
That adds
in the
context.
video game, yeah, in the video game, like, it makes sense because it's a video game. But she just seems so like she wants the revenge, but then she doesn't, and like
She wants revenge, but she feels bad about it. But she
she
feels bad about feeling bad about.
and she has also, like, in the game, like, Ellie is like a master survivor, like a masterful survivor. In this show, she has no sense of survival skills. Like, whenever her and Jesse are going through, and that Seraphite gets attacked by the WLF, and she's like, "Let's go save him," and he's like, "No,
Like, no, what are you
like,
talking
why do you
about?
keep putting us in danger? Like, there's no." So, like, I'm 100% on. And I know in the game, like, Jesse was like, "Well, why didn't you tell me you were going?" Like, I would have, Joel was like I don't know, like, I would have gone. And this one, he's obviously, I voted no, but it's like she keeps putting these people in her friends and her community, which she also says fuck the community. I don't know. She is just so. I don't think she was written very well in this season at all.
No, I mean, you could argue that she wasn't written very well in the first season either, but that was covered. That was kind of softened by the fact that they had Joel, and they had like for whatever reason Joel was written really well and Ellie
Yeah.
wasn't. They just keep trying to make Ellie into this little brat, and like that's not what Ellie was in the second game at all.
Yeah, it's like in the
Like
the
Ellie was
first
like
one,
a
like, I thought
hardened
it was fine
character.
because she's a kid, and she's just kind of learning her way through the world, and like Joel is teaching her. And it's like, if this was if that was Joel in that situation, Joel's not going to try to attack 6 people to save one person that they don't even know, that they know is also part of the Seraphites that will kill you on sight, which she
Yeah,
finds out. And like that whole island
yeah,
scene
that was
was
weird.
that was garbage. Like, that was.
Like, why did like it didn't even really show where that island was. Obviously, she got like kind of derailed and washed up ashore,
the
and then
only
they
the
just let
only
her go.
reason the only reason why I think that scene could potentially make sense for, like, context of the themes with Ellie, and like how Jesse was like, you put everybody else in danger. What if, and he tells that story of like that girl that comes to Jackson, and he said that he ultimately didn't go with her, and he's like, you know what, it's a good thing I didn't, because who would have saved you, from the infected. And maybe context of that scene and why it felt so randomly placed is maybe because later on, when we see day 3 with Abby, we know that her and Lev are the ones that attacked the Seraphite village and made that explosion. And it's like, I think that'll circle back and say,
Forgot about that.
hey, Abby unintentionally saved your life. So again, it's another person having to save your life, and you can't save so maybe that'll come around, and that scene will make sense.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But still, like,
Still weird, like how they did it.
as yeah, just so it was so random,
It
so
was
random.
so random, and then the aquarium part was like so rushed. Like I remember that. I mean, obviously that took so much longer in the game, and there's
Yeah.
more build up to it. I mean, I think they did that scene well, like with her killing.
Oh,
Mel and Owen.
Yeah, I did like the way she killed them in the show versus the game. And I don't know the actress's name, but when she's like grabbed the knife and like cut it out, and then like she's just kind of like talking and talking and talking,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "Is it out? Is it out? Is it out?" And then she dies. Like that was incredible. Like that was
that
like
was
I was
great.
like I was like I don't. This makes me so uncomfortable. But man, like at the end, like I was rooting for Abby. I was like, kill her, just kill her, like just put her out of the misery, because I do not like this version of Ellie in the show whatsoever.
And just knowing where it's going to go and knowing how they're probably going to write it, it's just going to make things even worse, and it's going to make Ellie even more of a bad guy and a brat than they've already made her out to be. It's just tough.
Yeah. I'm excited. I mean, because I'm excited to see more of Abby's character, and like
I'm excited for season 3 because like it's gonna be Abby's side of it. So
I'm ready to be done with Ellie. Like I'm good. Like I don't feel like we need to see her at all. Until the scene at the very end. Man, yeah. What a fumble, man. Like I just.
I don't think this episode was great. I think the episode prior was fantastic. I mean, we can both agree on that. But
yeah, that was in part carried by Joel. Yeah, I mean, there's been certain episodes, there's certain scenes that I think this show has brought in context to, like in added scenes. That porch scene was incredible.
Oh yeah,
I thought way better than the game, and that was already top tier. But again, like, should that scene have been saved? Like they did in the game. Like they're making these extreme switch ups
because they don't trust the audience.
Yeah, where it hits harder. I don't know, man. Because that's the whole like the whole game. You just assume that Joel died. They died on bad terms.
Yeah,
and you're like, fuck, man. Like this sucks. And then you get the revelation at the very end. It's like, oh no, they did go out on good terms.
And they use that as the catalyst to fuel that last decision that's made.
Yeah.
And what are they going to do in its place now? Are they going to replay that scene?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know if like Craig, because I know Craig Mazin is the front runner of the show, and Neil Druckmann is helping it write it. But do they just not? I mean, did they not trust the audience to like understand these things? I mean, there's been S tier TV shows before this that have done this type of thing. Not this specific story, but like great storytelling.
Is it not more compelling to wonder why Abby killed Joel and that drive you throughout the show rather than them explaining it in this weird exposition at the very start of the first episode? Like I feel like it would.
Because two things, you get the cliffhanger, right? And it works in the video game because you immediately cut to playing Abby and you're like, what the? I thought this game was done. And then you have a whole nother 10 hours to play. And then you play as Abby and you're like, oh damn, like Abby's actually kind of likable. Like she is not necessarily a bad person. And I guess neither is Ellie and neither was Joel, but they all made decisions that led them up into this path, this no looking back kind of scenario. And I think that moment again with the game, you immediately play. Now we have to wait another year and a half, 2 years before we get season 3 potentially. I think that moment, that revelation of knowing why Abby went after Joel, they could have immediately hit that with learning that in day one, or they did like the scene of her going up in the Firefly hospital and finding him, and you're like, oh, that was her father. Holy shit.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, well, okay, justified now. And then you follow Abby's journey after day 1, day 2, and day 3, and then you're like, okay, that I actually really like this character, and if they would have done a good job with Ellie this season, you have 2 compelling characters that you really like, and then you're like, oh my god, they're going to clash at the very, and then it's like, oh, masterpiece, right? Like, come on.
And now everyone's just going to root for Abby.
I need to go back and play Last of Us Part 2 because I know I was not super high on it, and I think it was just the decision at the very end like pissed me off. But now I don't know. Maybe I think I was wrong. I need to play it again and form a new opinion about it.
But, yeah,
man, just it's a shame. It really is.
We did watch it with our friends. Like watch the finale with our friends, and I asked our friend Doug. I was like, when you saw Joel die, did it like turn you off from wanting to watch the show or anything? Like, did it make you want to quit there? And he's like, no. Like I of course wanted to keep going. So that did like alleviate that thought in my head of like, okay, how many people quit after Joel?
I mean, my wife, she's 3 episodes behind now. And it was a few Sundays ago. I was waiting, I had it booted up and we were getting ready to watch it. And then she had fallen asleep and I didn't realize it. And then, so I was like, we'll catch up because I've got to watch it for the podcast. So I watched it and then she just never watched it. And we were hanging out one night and she's like, Joel died. I don't really want to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you think we felt? And we played as this guy for
that was like 2 hours into the game.
Yeah. And now it's like, and now I wanted to watch it because now, we fight with Jesse getting killed. Man, just, I don't know. And then I guess I'm looking back and it's like that scene where Dina says that she's pregnant and then Ellie makes the dad joke. It's like, that's so cringe. I don't like that scene. Looking back at it, and it's like, you really made like I'm a dad joke knowing Jesse's the father. Like, come on, like, what do we? I don't know. So it's weird, man. I don't like.
I don't know why that was written. Like, I don't know who decided on that. Even, yeah, dude, I don't know. Even our friends were like, "What was that? Like, why was that even like?"
Yeah. Like
that's in no way contextually accurate in any possible conceivable way, and then somehow it was written in, and it wasn't funny. Like
I need to send it to you, but there was a someone made they did a clip of that scene and they added like the Seinfeld laugh track to it, and then like it cut and it was like the Seinfeld like bass riff or whatever. Yeah, and it was fucking hilarious. Oh my god. I don't know. Just the writing has been extremely questionable.
I don't think the acting has been like Bella's acting has been very good, I think. But it's just the writing. It's the writing.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's only the writing for Ellie's character. It feels like everyone else is written decently.
Yeah, just her having no survival instincts. Everybody literally has to save her. I just don't like.
Yeah, that's weird.
For going from a scene with Jesse and she's wanting to save that kid, and then the very next scene she's yelling at him and saying fuck the community. It's like, why did you even care about saving this person if you don't care about anybody except for your hardened revenge plot? It's like it doesn't. It's contradicting. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Like I'm still excited for season 3, seeing Abby's point of view. But yeah, just not great writing.
I would say this. I would say season 1 was like great to fantastic, and season 2 was
it started off great.
Yeah, good to like okay to good by the end of it. With some really spectacular episodes like episode 2 and then episode 6 were phenomenal. But like the first season did have some duds as well. Like
Yeah,
that.
I talked about it with Kathleen, like the whole
Yeah, that whole
Kansas City. Like I thought like
yeah.
her, she was kind of like Ellie in that regard. Like she was like on this like warpath and got everybody around her killed for no reason, and she could have just let it go, and everyone would have survived. And in the same case, it's like I don't know, like after like Jesse tells you get everybody killed, and you go, the first thing what happens when you go off by yourself, you almost get killed again, and then your initial thought is like, okay, let me continue on this warpath. It's like, why? Like, just it's not written good.
No,
not great. All right, well, let's move on. Let's move on to the news. We already talked about Expedition 33 selling 3.3 million copies in 33 days. That's a crazy statistic. Just the way that lined up is actually insane. But I'm so I'm so happy for that team. The game is fantastic. If you haven't played it, obviously we highly recommend it. The Switch 2 is out in a while. There was somebody on Twitter that posted like an 8-second clip, which I think has now been taken down at this point, of them unboxing it.
Or at least opening the box.
Yeah, open the box and showing it. So that's been taken down. You could probably still find that clip somewhere, potentially. But it doesn't matter. I mean, you can't actually play it. Nintendo locked it to a system update. So I think it's pretty smart. I don't know why more companies don't do that, because stuff is going to break, like like with Target like actively having the Switches in like a
giving it away
cart, like you're just begging someone, you're just asking somebody to steal it from you. And now they can steal it. I mean, they could still sell it to somebody, and then that person could play it on day one. But
that's just that's just selling a retail copy at that point.
Yeah,
but like, I guess the safeguard here, aside from that system update, is that Mario Kart World is download only, or not download only, but like in that bundle, it's a download game. So like, it's not loaded onto the game, onto the system. It's not like if you got the Switch 1 and you got Breath of the Wild early, then you could play it. Like there's really not anything to show here, even if they could like play games, because they wouldn't be able to download Mario Kart World. They would just be able to play Switch 1 games on the Switch 2. I don't even know how that would work. But
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe you have to like literally, like that's the first thing you do after you like sign into your Nintendo account. You have to download that patch or update or something, and then it allows you to actually get into the OS. We'll see how that works on June 5th. But so yeah, they're out in the wild. It's crazy to see it. Like it feels kind of surreal, but we're a weekend, what, 2 days away. So
2 days, 9 days away. Yeah, within striking distance, within single digit days.
We're almost there, baby. We are almost there. And then you also mentioned earlier, Fantasy Life, getting the Switch 2 upgrade day one. You said it was what, $3, $4?
Yeah, $3. I think like $2.59. It was some weird price. I don't know why.
Yeah,
but
did they entail what like the upgrade is?
Graphical and frame rate update. So I'm assuming it's just bringing it up to parity with like the Series X, PS5, PC, and that runs at 60.
How much is that game to begin with?
$60. It's full price.
Okay. Do you think that's fair for them to ask money for that type of upgrade? Or, I mean, it's so little, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's so little. Can't really be mad about it. I think it should be free if it's just a graphical and performance update.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the same thing about Zelda as well, but we're getting those for free since we have NSO.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think those should be $10 upgrades to begin with, but they are. I think everyone should treat it like the series, or like Xbox treats their smart delivery.
Smart delivery. Yeah, that was perfect.
Free. It's so great. Compels you to play more games. Compels you to buy games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know we don't really hate on Xbox that much, but like,
can't right now. Other than their price increases, I mean, they've been knocking it out of the park here.
Yeah, and they're only doing all this because they're like in last place,
yeah,
quote unquote. But
they have to
like,
get some goodwill out to the
yeah,
community. For sure.
they've done a lot of
More
goodwill
so
things
than
for the
more so
consumer.
than others. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which I mean, I think there was a point where we didn't think, or maybe we were on the fence. It's like, is Nintendo going to do an upgrade path? Are they going to do it for free?
Are they just gonna have like completely new versions that you have to buy?
Yeah, and they're kind of doing both, you know.
Right.
Which is fine. You know, I think like the Kirby stuff, like, you know, it's $20. So I mean, but it's like DLC too. So like that's pretty cool. Like we don't know how significant that DLC is yet. I assume we'll learn more closer to when that comes out. But like that, I'm interested, and I'll probably end up picking that up because I mean Kirby was already a great game.
Yeah, it's just the value proposition of the Switch 2 version being $80 for a new player. Like, just make it 60. No one's going to be mad about, oh, I bought it for 60 3 years ago and now I have to pay an extra $20 for the DLC. Like,
Yeah, that's
no one's going to care.
that's what most games do. Like they'll sell the game for initially 60, and then once like the Game of the Year edition comes out with all the DLC, it's still 60, and then the other version without it gets price reduced.
Exactly.
I mean, I know that's not the thing that happens anymore because I guess but yeah, that would be nice. Like
just throw people a
it's like
bone.
the game never dropped in price once outside of a sale. It's like, can we just go ahead and do that now? Can we just make that 60?
But just make it in.
Make it 60
Just
and
make it
then
in.
yeah, it's like it's whatever.
You're not hurting anyone. You're not going to hurt your sales. Yeah. Questionable decisions by Nintendo, but
Because I mean, how like what is the? I gotta wonder how many people. I don't know if there's a way to get this statistic in a month or two from now, but like how many people that didn't play Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom with Switch 1 and they're jumping into the Switch 2 and they're picking up those games for the first time. Like, what is actually that number?
Mm-hmm.
And how more likely would someone? I guess there's no way of knowing this. But if it was like $60 versus the 80 and 70, like how many more people would likely jump on board? Like as a newcomer, you know, I'm not going to pick up, you know, the Switch 2 versions of either one of those games because I already have them. And I'm like, as cool as it would have to have that artwork on the shelf, like that's just a waste of money for me personally.
Right.
I'm just not going to double dip in that way, but
yeah, where's that cross point where people would pick up the $80 version? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of analysis done on Nintendo's side, and they think they can sell enough units at $80 for Tears of the Kingdom and Kirby and Mario Kart Jamboree that, you know, it makes up for how many more units they would sell at $60 or $70.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy though. $80 for Mario Party and Jamboree.
Yeah, that's wild. I'm still like, you know, I don't love the $80 price tag. Obviously, I don't want to pay more money. I'm really hoping there is a significant amount of unlockables and stuff to do in Mario Kart world to justify it being that premium $80 experience. Because what I've seen, it looks fun, but it doesn't look like this premium thing that Nintendo's offering. And maybe once I get my hands on it, maybe I'll completely, you know, I'll change my mind. I'm hoping that's the case. But you've been playing your Wii U, you like it better than the Switch?
What's up? I don't know what my name is. I don't know what to name this.
I mean, the Wii U is a very, very cool system. I think the tablet thing, like playing Splatoon on the Wii U, I think is a better experience with the tablet. That because you could just like hit the map and jump to where you want to land.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love playing Splatoon. I think the Wii U. I think anyone that said the Wii U was sucked probably just didn't pick one up, and they probably didn't because it only sold 13 million copies. But for those of us that did have the Wii U, it's a really cool system. Had a ton of great games.
Few the proud.
Yeah, few the proud. Had a ton of great games, but you know, just
didn't. It wasn't positioned very well.
Yeah. And all those games are pretty much on the Switch.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. It was a cool console. But yeah, still excited for the Switch.
Oh yeah,
Still questionable things like the
really
key card thing makes more sense now that I know that they're only doing 64. I still don't think it's a big deal. Like I think Nintendo gets criticized more heavily just because they are the market leader. Even though some people will argue that they're not, but they are. I think they just get more hate for other PlayStation, Xbox doing the exact same thing with their stuff. Like game key card is no different than
any
buying
disc
a game, any
nowadays.
disc. Like you still have to download it. Yeah, this was the case for like even like installing games like back on the 360. That's a little bit different than installing versus downloading it, but most of the time now, like you have to download some sort of either day one patch to make the game run good, or just download the rest of the game in general because it just won't fit in the disc. So that's been like that for a long time, in this generation. So I don't get that controversy with the game cue card thing.
Just because they're doing it now.
Yeah. And at least it's not just a download in the box. Like at least you can resell it if you want to.
Yeah.
The DLC is questionable because I think like the Street Fighter 6 DLC, it's a code, like it's a game key card, but the code is in the box, so you're not really getting the full
code for the DLC is in the box.
So if you were to resell it to somebody, they're not going to have the DLC; they have to buy it.
Right.
So that's a little shitty, but
maybe that's why it's $60.
Yeah, maybe,
and not $70 like Cyberpunk.
Yeah. So
that is weird. That's strange, but I don't know how. Yeah, I guess I don't know how you would go about it with DLC unless you just put it on the cart.
Yeah, I think that's what people want. I guess assumed that it was going to be that way, but
yeah,
got to make their money. Maybe they don't want a way for people to
like resell,
like kind of like trying to counter that a little bit. But yeah, I mean the Switch 2, announcement to release has been, quite up and down. Nintendo definitely, has had its issues with marketing, and setting the narrative straight. Not having the price in the direct was a questionable call. Like why wouldn't you do that? So they've not been very smooth, to say the least. And they've had a lot of time to get this right, and they still didn't. But 9 days away.
Yeah, and I think the demand is still absolutely there, regardless of
all the information. I don't think it hurt them in the slightest. I mean, they're still out, selling everywhere. They are manufactured a ton to kind of get around scalping.
Yeah.
Just about every retailer that we know is going to have a decent amount of units to sell that night. Like I think GameStop, you can buy one, you can pre-order it that day, but you have to pick it up at midnight. If not, you don't get to keep it. So that's kind of interesting. So yeah, it's just been up and down, but we're 9 days away, and I think I'm pretty hyped.
I'm very hyped.
Console launch.
Yeah. First, non-COVID console launch, which just for whatever reason makes it more exciting.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
All right, guys. Well, I think that is going to wrap up the episode. We'll be back next week. One final goodbye to the Switch, and then we'll be on it. I don't know. Maybe Thursday. Maybe that night we'll do a little stream or something.
Yeah.
Just to talk about our excitement and how we're enjoying it. We're gonna obviously play around with the camera, the new controller, all that stuff. It's gonna be a good time. I have theories about the Wii U and that it was planned to be a failure to throw off Microsoft. I don't.
Yeah.
No company is gonna spend hundreds of millions of dollars in R&D and then make it fail on purpose. That's just not what these companies do. But
It may seem like that though, with how
I
they
mean,
market it.
And it worked out. It definitely paved the way for the Switch and being super, super successful. But, a lot of companies, this on the Switch just did not show up. EA being one of those. Like, there are so many of those games, Madden alone, that just weren't on the Switch because they got burned in the past by Nintendo and their specific stuff not selling. And that, I think that's why they're offering they're doing the game keycard thing, is because even though they want the companies to use the 64 cartridge, at least they're getting that option, because it was either use a 64 gigabyte cartridge or be digital only. And companies still want stuff to be on the shelves. Like, they still want, and Nintendo wants that too. They want third parties games to sell because obviously they get a cut. But so that's why they did that as well. But no company's going to forcibly make their product fail.
30 million.
Yeah.
But
yeah. All right, guys. We'll be back next week with I don't know, whatever more news happens, more leaks. Maybe it's crazy world out there.
Maybe someone gets their hands on Mario Kart World and somehow.
I still think it's like
it's probably locked down.
Funny that nobody's getting anything. So everybody's going into like day one just fresh. Nobody.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, no, like none of the the IGNs of the world outlets are getting anything early. So it's gonna be a fun day. Everyone's kind of exploring and learning about the system at the same time, which is really cool.
Yeah,
it's gonna be very zeitgeisty, I think.
It is. It's gonna be hype.
Yeah, I'm very excited. All right, guys. Well, if you can review us on your favorite podcasting platform of choice, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. And go back last week, we did a spoiler cast for Expedition 33. So I know our Act 1 show had a pretty good amount of downloads. So if you guys enjoyed that one, go back and listen to that one, where we spoil the entire game. Just masterpiece.
Masterpiece.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.